front of the huts of history's pain, our ancestors bled and died. But with strength and willpower we overcame to restore Virgin Islands' pride. To preserve the beauty we devised the plan to obtain ownership of your precious land. Educating your people is the golden key to maintain the success of this territory. Oh, how radiant are your daughters, and how wealthy are your sons. Your beaches boast your beauty, and your success it's second to none. Green and brilliant are your hillsides, they replenish our hopes and pride. Oh, beautiful Virgin Islands, your qualities can never be denied. May God richly bless this territory. May we ask three things of thee. Courage for our great leaders, that they may rule our destiny. We ask for wisdom for our people, that they may live in harmony. In understanding for our children, that they may cherish this legacy. Oh, how radiant are your daughters, and how wealthy are your sons. Your beaches boast your beauty, and your success it's second to none. Green and brilliant are your hillsides, they replenish our hopes and pride. Oh, beautiful Virgin Islands, your qualities can never be denied. Oh, beautiful Virgin Islands, your qualities can never be denied.
May I ask you to bow your head, please? Merciful and gracious Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day. Father, we thank you for your grace and for your mercy. Your word said, Lord, where there is no vision, the people shall perish. So, Father, we ask that you be present at this place and at this time as we, Father, roll out this program today. Father, we thank you for the visionary of this program, the Honorable Myron Walwin. Father, we thank you and ask that you would bless those who have facilitated and work on this program. And God, we thank you for those young people who have decided to take part in this program. Lord, may you be a blessing to all of them, all of us, as we seek to strengthen and build this nation. Lord, I pray that you would be with us in a special way. We ask this in no other name but in Jesus' name. Amen and amen.
Premier, Dr. the Honorable D. Orlando Smith, OBE. Madam Speaker, Honorable Ingrid Moses Catliff, Deputy Premier and Minister for Natural Resources and Labor, Dr. the Honorable Kedrick Pickering, Minister for Education and Culture, Honorable Myron Walwin, Minister for Communication and Works, Honorable Mark Vanterpool and Mrs. Vanterpool, Senior Public Officers, Mrs. Brenda Letsamtai, Assistant Secretary and person responsible for the apprenticeship program in the ministry, Mr. Albert Wheatley, Coordinator for the Youth Employment Service, business partners, members of the media, young people, the most important group in the room this morning, good morning. I want to welcome each and every one of you this morning to what is considered another red letter day in the Ministry of Education and Culture. I am sure as you look at our Minister, Honorable Walwyn, and Mrs. Tai and all the other members of the Ministry of Education, you will see the pride beaming, because we are so happy to see this day come to fruition when we again launch another aspect of the many programs we have in the ministry to help the youth of this territory. So I want to welcome you all and thank you all for coming out and being a part of this ceremony this morning. At this point, I'm going to invite our Premier, Dr. the Honorable D. Orlando Smith, to give some remarks and ask you to welcome him as he approaches the podium.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies. I know that you recognize the members of the government, but I have to do so again. So I want to recognize the Speaker of the House, Mr. Ingrid Moses, the Deputy Premier Minister Natri Doses, Honorable Dr. Kedrick Pickering, the Minister of Communication and Works, Honorable Mark Vanderpool and Mrs. Vanderpool, and of course the man of the moment, the Minister of Education, Honorable Myron V. Walwyn. Ladies and gentlemen, business owners, young people, good morning. I'm pleased to be part of another first for the BVI. This apprenticeship program and its related Youth VI website. I'm delighted that this government, through the Ministry of Education and Culture, in collaboration with our business community, has given some 85 young men and women the opportunity to earn a living. Not only does this make them financially independent, it also boosts their confidence in this country they call home and in themselves. When the minister first approached me about funding the program, I did not hesitate to say yes. And that was for two reasons. Firstly, after all, this is why we spend thousands of dollars to educate our young people, whether at the high school, college, or university level, so that they can earn a living. And secondly, I was familiar with this kind of program. In fact, it was while I was in Gibraltar a few years ago that I was introduced to a similar program. I was pleased to learn at that time that more than 60% of the employers participating in that program decided after 1 year that the employee would become part of their staff. It could very well be the case here in the BVI that after 6 months, many employers could consider and invite those apprentices to be part of their staff. You see, it's all about giving our young men and women a chance. Although this program might be slightly different to the one introduced in Gibraltar, the principle remains the same. I'm therefore confident that this program will enjoy as great a success as it has in other places. Indeed, when I hear employees turn down young people looking for work because they're lacking in experience, I'm reminded of the well-known conundrum. How will a person get a job having no experience? And how will that person get experience without a job? Well, here we are together, government and the business community, working hand in hand to solve that conundrum. Through the apprenticeship program, we expect that youth unemployment will be reduced as more unemployed young people will improve their skills base and find fulfilling and permanent jobs. The program will also help to prepare young men and women for working life, develop positive work habits, and understand the expectations of employers. Furthermore, through mentorship and working with skilled professionals, our young people would in turn develop their leadership abilities. I appeal to you young people participating here today to work hard, go to work early and stay late. Show enthusiasm for whatever you are called on to do and do it to the best of your ability. Leave all the texting, the Facebooking, catching up on the local news, blogging and the like until you get home or until the weekend. Do not be afraid to make suggestions, to ask your supervisors for more work, and so on. I'm extremely grateful to the business community for agreeing to partner with the government in this venture. I continue to be very proud of the BVI business community as you continue to be such excellent corporate citizens. Like us in government, we are clearly committed to ensuring that we get as close as possible to a full employment situation, which has been a norm in this territory before. Full employment is one sure way of ensuring continued stability. It is one sure way of ensuring that our crime rate remains low. As I said earlier, it is a sure way of making sure that the people of this country continue to feel proud of themselves and that they are making a contribution to the economy. My government understands that a strong economy is based on a skilled national workforce capable of meeting the many varied demands of today. But I'm excited about this program for another reason. This apprenticeship program can help potential entrepreneurs to start new businesses. New businesses mean economic growth and the creation of further job opportunities. Indeed, I know there will be many success stories shared as participants learn and become motivated to develop further. I appeal to other businesses and industry stakeholders throughout the territory to join this initiative and partner with the Ministry of Education and Culture to provide employment to young persons who meet the criteria for selection for a period of 6 months. Help us to give our young people the chance to become competitive in the local labor market and refine their professional skills. I applaud Minister Walwyn and his team at the Ministry of Education and Culture for continuing to come up with creative and practical ways to support the territory's young people. This is a very important initiative that will be a long-term program for the ministry. Well done, Minister. In fact, I'm so excited about this project and its impact on our young people that I'm pleased to announce that this government will finance an additional 20 young people for this program. And by the same token, challenging other employers to come forward to match this contribution, thereby enabling more of our young people to start work. I leave it to the Minister Walwyn to work out the details of the program. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it is only through sustained youth development programs such as this that we will continue to chart the map towards a better, more prosperous Virgin Islands for our people for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Premier. Thank you for your continued support for our programs in the Ministry of Education. And I'm sure just hearing that we are going to get funding for 20 more persons is music to all of our ears. Thank you, sir. I now invite our Deputy Premier and Minister for Natural Resources and Labour, Dr. the Honourable Kedrick Pickering, to give his remarks. Pickering.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Premier, Dr. the Honourable Yolanda Smith, Minister for Education, Honourable Myron V. Walwyn, Minister for Communications and Works, Mr. Mark Vanderpool and Mrs. Vanderpool, Madam Speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, but especially all you young people, a pleasant good morning to you. And I take my good mornings and good afternoons very seriously. Good morning to you. Good morning. Oh, thank you so much. Niccolo Machiavelli, back in 1532, said, and I quote, that there is nothing more difficult than to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things. And so I want to, as I make my contribution this morning, say congratulations to the Minister and the Ministry of Education and Culture for this initiative here this morning. I was reading an article in the New York Times yesterday, interesting article, and it's in relation to the job market. And the title of the article is Make Way for Generation X. It said, make way for Generation Z. Now, I'd never heard of Generation Z. I've heard of Generation X, the so-called millennials. So the article caught my attention, and it says that there are about 80 million strong that makes up Generation Z, and they're referred to as Generation Zers. And some of you are looking at me as if, what in the world is he talking about? But the author of the article says that Generation Zers, he says, and I quote, to start with, they tend to be independent. And a 2015 Census Bureau report found that nearly a third of millennials are still living with their parents. Generation Zers are growing up in a healthier economy and appear eager to cut loose. They don't wait for their parents to teach them things or tell them how to make decisions. And he goes on to say, thanks to social media, they are accustomed to engaging with friends all over the world, so they are well prepared for a global business environment. He went on to say that many Generation Zers intend to go to traditional college, but after that, their lives and careers are likely to be anything but traditional. And so in that context, this is why the introduction of a new scheme of things is so important at this point in time. I attended the Ministers of Labor's conference in the Bahamas about a month ago under the auspices of the International Labor Organization. And the title of that conference was Decent Work for Sustainable Development. And amongst the topics that were discussed at that conference was the whole question of youth employability and the importance of having core work skills. Amongst the questions that were posed at the conference was the question of what are the core skills for employability. It asks the question of, what are the skills that are needed for work in today's world? Do the developed and developing countries need different core work skills? Why are core skills for employability that important? What do employers really want when they're seeking to have and recruit youngsters for the workplace, or anyone for that matter? One of the critical components that were discussed at that meeting was the whole issue of how to find a job and to remain active within the labor market. And there's this new concept that is being put forward by the international labor organizations with respect to the whole question of the responsibilities for skill development. And it is referred to as a tripartite agreement. And what that means is that there is a coming together of government, social partners, and individuals in the wider context of the workplace. No longer are we talking about the difference between capital and labor and government in between, trying to ensure that there's no disconsonance, so to speak. There's no fighting and quarreling between the labor and the capital. That's sort of old school. And in that context, we were happy to tell them that the BVI does not have trade unions. We've never had trade unions, and we do not have. And it's probably one of the blessings for the BVI, because that whole conflict, trade unions pulling this way and capital pulling the next way, is something that we have not had to contend with. But within the context of this tripartite agreement, it says that government has a responsibility for education, for pre-employment training, to help for individuals to achieve core skills. It talks about the training of the employed, unemployed, and people with special needs, something that I know our minister is very passionate about. Within the context of the social partners, the question is, how do they play a significant role in further training and in providing the working experience that the Premier just made reference to? And then with respect to the individuals, the young people like yourselves that are here today, how do you make use of the opportunities in education and the opportunities for training, and more specifically in lifelong learning? That is a critical component, and that is why this whole discussion is so vitally important, and bringing together this group of individuals amongst the youngsters and the employers, facilitated by government, for us to continue to build this great little nation that we are building. It is critically important for us to understand it, because one of the wider debate is the whole question of high quality apprenticeships programs and how these programs can promote active participation and the support for special groups such as young persons, employers, trade unions, etc., etc. How to enhance the work within and subject to regulation under the legal framework, which is part and parcel of my responsibility to ensure that we have a legal framework within the labor environment to make sure that those who are working and those who are employing feel that they are being looked after in a way that makes them encouraged to do what is necessary. And when you look up there, you'll see that the government has put together a minimum wage committee to look at the concept of minimum wage and what is fair for employers to be paying the employees in today's BVI. How do we ensure that continuing relevance to the need of the labor market? We know that in the British Virgin Islands, we live in a context where we're dominated by a hospitality industry and the financial services. But the hospitality industry is the one that has the greatest potential for growth, and certainly the one that employs most BVI landers. And so it's important for us to carve out the areas that our people can become involved, and look forward to what the Premier continues to talk about, the whole concept of entrepreneurship, small and medium business enterprises. You know, it's one of my friends have put forward a concept in which he says that the next pillar of the BVI economy is the question of entrepreneurial development, and it fits smoothly into the concept of what the Premier has been preaching from day one. And so my responsibility is to ensure that we have, within the wider context of the BVI, a labor environment where those who feel that they are being disenfranchised can look to be a position where they can find what is necessary to make them enjoy their work and to have peace at work. There is nothing like going to a job where you feel welcome, where you feel at peace, and you feel like you're making a contribution. So decent work is critically important. And so in the context of what the minister is doing here today is to help also not only just to provide employment for younger persons, but to provide a harmonious and working relationship that will ensure that the employer at the end of your apprenticeship will be more than happy to employ you on a long-term basis, that you can look forward to having a purposeful existence within the context of the work you do. And so through collaboration with the social partners and the whole tripartite arrangement is that promote the recognition and the validation of training through national bodies, all the social institutions that are coming together that will help you as younger persons to get the necessary qualifications and the competencies that are necessary for you to be able to be fruitful and productive, not only in your work, but in your life to come. And you know, the wise man Solomon in the book of Proverbs says that the man who wins may have been counted out several times, but he didn't hear the referee. I want you to hear that loud and clear. And Einstein summed it all up by saying that he who has never made a mistake in his life has never made anything. Congratulations to all of you. God bless you. God continue to bless the world.
Thank you, Honorable Pickering, for those remarks. And I hope you all listening attentively. I just jotted down a couple concepts that he raised, and the issue of lifelong learning, high quality in the apprenticeship program, but high quality labor force, and ensuring relevance in the labor market. And I dare say that is what Minister Walwyn has been aiming at in all of the initiatives that we put forward in the Ministry of Education and Culture. I now invite Mr. Albert Wheatley, who is the coordinator for the Youth Employment Services, to come forward and give his remarks.
Good morning, everyone. I recognize the protocol that has already been established. I'm sitting here and my mind could not help but reflect back on 2012 when this initiative first began. Ms. Judy Vanterpool is right here. We worked together along with Ms. Melvahaj, where we work with 220 young people up at the Marine Services Center at the HLSCC. That began this program in February 2012. By September of 2013, we had placed right around 215 young people in jobs. That was in September of 2013. In the remainder of that year, October, November, and December, we placed an additional 20 young people that closed out the year. For 2014, we had roughly 153 registrants came through the program, and we were able to place about 85 of those. That brings us to well over 300 young people that have been placed since the beginning of the program. I will say that this program has truly made a big difference in the lives of many of our young people. And I'm excited for them, but I'm also excited for their parents, because that affected a lot of parents, and I think allowed a lot of parents to sleep a little bit easier at night, knowing that their child or children are now working. I work with a wide spectrum of individuals, from young men and women who are just out of high school or who have been to college, who can walk into anyone's job and perform. From that example to a young man without a high school education who had just spent 2 years in jail, and everything in between. It's very interesting, the diversity of the group that come through the program, but our commitment is to help as many as we can. Will we be able to help all? No, but I can tell you we have helped many. One of the things that I do, and I just wanted to walk with an example of resumes, for example, and what I encounter on a daily basis, and I walk with kind of a before and after. Believe it or not, and I hope you can see this, some young people have this as a resume. I hope you can see this. This is their resume. This is what this one individual was sending out. When we get finished, or when I get finished with the same information that's here, this is the end product. And it makes a big difference, because she was home for almost a year, couldn't find work. Within 2 weeks, she was employed at Guana Island, and it's almost 2 years, and she's still there working. So I'll use one more, not as bad as that one, as extreme, but certainly a little bit different. This was the resume. This is a young lady who worked at a very established bank. This is a resume here that she brought in before to me. She was looking at a job. When I got finished, you can see the difference in the document. It makes a big difference, and a lot of time our young people just don't know, and they need that special assistance and that special help. And those are the things that I do. As you know, I also work with their personality profile, getting them to understand what is it that they bring to the workplace. If you are an engaging, interactive person, then you're suited to customer service. If you're more quiet, reserved, you're more task-oriented, I kind of tend to push them there. I've also had a couple of different scenarios of work with that's very interesting. As far as people have come through the program, I've had a young man that is no longer working and actually is now in jail. And that's one of the realities that we face with our young people. A young man that we lost that was close to me, Paul Prentice, was a registrant by me. He was so willing to work, and he actually got a job. Now he's no longer with us. And I can go to a young lady named Maureen Peters, Maureen Sylvester, who from the very first batch went from the job fair to work at O'Neill Webster O'Neill back in 2012. And she's still at O'Neill Webster O'Neill to this day. And fortunately, most of the young people who came through the program fit in the latter category. They have found work, and they've kept on working. The young man who is in jail those are few by numbers, but they are a reality. But it shows the importance of this program. We must give our young people an opportunity and help for them to be gainfully employed. A lot of them really do not have what it takes. They do not understand how to sell themselves. Luckily, last week, Judith and I sat with about 82 of them, prepped them for today. They are excited about today. And I hope the employers are excited. I know they are. I want to thank the employers for coming out and all those who have participated over the years. I don't want to call any names. There's so many of you I know would leave out many, but I want to thank you. And I also want to thank Minister Walwyn for giving me the opportunity. I'm a people's person by nature, for the opportunity to work with these young people. It's not easy, sir. It is not easy. But at the end of the day, we have to do what we can to help our young people. Thank you so much, and we will work with all of those who are here and those who will come after. We will continue to work with them and help them to find gainful employment and be contributing members of our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wheatley. And at this time, I'm going to invite Mrs. Brenda Letsam-Tai, who is going to do a demonstration of our website, youthvi.com. We're launching today. We're all excited about it, and right after the website demonstration, she's going to give us a little synopsis of what the apprenticeship program is all about. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Potter. I recognize the protocol that has been established. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Dr. Potter, we have a slight change of plan. We are going to launch the website after the minister has given his remarks. At this time, I will give a bit of information about the apprenticeship program. We at the Ministry of Education and Culture are very excited about this apprenticeship program. As has been mentioned, we have partnered with the business community to give our young persons an opportunity to find employment, get their foot in the door for 6 months. They come from varied backgrounds. We have young persons who unfortunately did not finish high school, to persons who have Bachelor of Science degrees who are unemployed. That is a wide range. And this gives us the opportunity to get them in the door, as I said, get their foot in and work towards a career. We told them, we had a training workshop with them because we wanted to give them every opportunity to be successful. So last week, Mrs. Judith Vanterpool, our go-to lady from BizEdCom, and Mr. Wheatley, Albert, held a workshop for 72 young persons. It was dynamic. I mean, you could see the transformation in their thoughts and how they felt about themselves, because our young people need to build their self-esteem as well. So we spent some time telling them what beautiful people they are. We need to tell them. We gave them some time to think about who they are and who they want to be. And we let them to understand it is not where you begin, it is where you finish. So we worked with our young people. We taught them, I won't go for everything Mr. Wheatley said, but the resume, training, interviewing skills, how they look on the job before they even get the job. How do you dress for that interview? How do you carry yourself? These are the things that we spent time with our young people. And I must at this point thank profusely the business community. I must say, I called lots of people. They were tired of me calling them. But you know what? They jumped on board. They were willing. They are here today, and I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. Our young people, as I said, come from varied backgrounds. We ask, we implore. They're not perfect. We know they're not perfect. Please work with them. Please mentor them. We must remember that not everyone has the perfect background, upbringing, and some of these young people don't have persons there rooting for them. Be that mentor, be that light, be that positive influence in their lives. And, well, my hope is that all 85, wait, it's not 85, it was what? 105, thank you, Honorable Premier, that all 105, we only have 72, but it will be moving forward. It's a rolling forward program. So we're recruiting young people all the time. We're recruiting more businesses. And our target, now that we have the funding, is to employ 105 young persons in the Ministry of Education and Culture's apprenticeship program. Once again, I thank all who have been involved, and we look forward to a very, very successful initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Tai. And as you said, we'll do the launch after the minister's remark. I guess the minister does have to have a say in the launch after he gives his remarks. We've asked one of our young men who's going to be interviewed sometime today to come and give a few remarks, say what, something about himself, something about this program and so on. So we're inviting Mr. Jerome Coffey to come and say a few words. Mr. Coffey?
Good morning. I recognize the protocol already established. My name is Jeremy Coffey. I've been unemployed for a couple months. I guess I'm more of in the IT field. I do dabble in many other things, but that's where my passion is. I would just like to come up here and thank Miss Edith Van Poel, Miss Brenda Tai, and Mr. Albert Wheatley for coaching us and giving us the knowledge to help us through our job experience and to give us the strength and courage, I guess I can say, to pursue the jobs that we all want and to continue doing whatever it is that we do in our best of our abilities to better ourselves, better whatever jobs that we get into. And so, again, I would like to extend a special thanks to you all. Again, I would like to also thank the Ministry of Education and Culture and the Honorable Mr. Myron Walwyn for putting this program in place. For without it, I honestly don't know where I would be today, as well as many of my colleagues, I guess I could say. So again, thank you. Now, as short as the sessions might have been, I must say that there's been a lot that was packed into those small time frames, and it is very well appreciated, greatly. So, I mean, I myself, I don't know what I'll get you guys, but at some point I'll get you guys something. Just as a small token of my gratitude. Now, to everyone else on the apprenticeship program, I know some of you are eager and maybe some nervous, but I can say for a fact with what we've learned over these past few days, you will all be fine. You'll all get through today, and at the end of the day, I hope each and every one of us will have a job in whatever field that we specialize in. And in getting that job, I hope that we all continue to try our best and move forward in whatever job we have and try to keep it as long as possible. I also hope that we grow in whatever positions that we get and make a life out of it. So with that being said, do your best, I guess, on whatever it is, whatever job it is you get, whatever field you go into, and continue doing your best. I'd also like to thank the companies who are involved in the apprenticeship program, and I would like to say without you being involved, this program would not be where it is today. So again, thank you all as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coffey. Very positive comments for your colleagues in here this morning. Before I invite the next person, next speaker, I just wanted to add a little to what Mrs. Tai presented a while ago, and I think perhaps it's something that people were waiting to hear about. The apprenticeship program, as launched in the Ministry of Education and Culture, is one where we are partnering with the business community, and we will be paying half of the salary while the business community pays the other half of the salary. So we have the salary prorated according to the qualifications and experiences of the young people who are going to be interviewed, and we are paying up to a maximum of $750. That's the person with the highest qualification. And so we will pay that, and the business partner will match the other half of the payment. Of course, as we have said, if business partners feel that the young people are doing a lot more and they want to put that up, that's fine with us. It's just that our maximum will be $750 for that young person being. So that's how the partnership will go, and of course all the other things will be worked out. The social security payments and so on will have to be taken out. So we will pay the young people, and business partners will be paying them for that 6-month period. We are hoping that at the end of that 6-month period, the young person would have found favor with that employer, and they want to keep them on, and so they will take them on, keep them, and pay them the full salary or whatever the position is worth at that point in time. I'm sure everybody was waiting to hear that little tidbit, how it's going to work. Okay, so at this point I'm going to invite Mr. Bentley Hodge, one of our partners, to come forward. Mr. Hodge, when I saw him in the meeting that we had with the business partners, the enthusiasm was just oozing. He was so happy to be on board and thought that the program was such a wonderful program, as well as all the other persons who were in the room. And we're, as have been said before, we're extremely thankful to all the businesses that came forward and decided to partner with us, and we hope to see other businesses coming forward, so please spread the word. Mr. Hodge?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Potter. I would like to acknowledge the protocol that has already been established, and I would like to take this opportunity as a member of the business community to encourage other businesses to join suit in joining with the Department of Education to continue to employ our young people. I was very proud of Mr. Cuffey this morning, and he gave us hope that our young people can and will be productive members of our community and our society. I myself, I've been in the industry for 25 years, and I'd like to kind of repeat some of the words that I've heard this morning, that you're not going to always end up where you started. 25 years ago, I started as a data entry clerk at the moorings in the supply room, and now I manage Marine Max Vacations, which is on the cutting edge of the marine industry. And I'd like to encourage our young people to get involved in whatever field that you want to be in. It varies from IT or customer service. If you're into more technical fields, whether it be mechanical or electrical, I just want to encourage you to stay focused, and whatever opportunities that are presented to you, that you take full advantage of it, so that you can become successful and be a contributing member to our society. So again, I'd like to thank Mr. Walwyn, Department of Education, and everybody else who has partnered with them in making this program successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hodge. And now it is time for me to invite our Minister, Honorable Walwyn, to come forward. I know he has been waiting for this moment. He has been pushing us hard to make sure that this becomes a reality. And so please join me in welcoming Honorable Myron D. Walwyn to give his remarks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Potter, the Premier, Honorable Yolanda Smith, OBE, Speaker of the House, Honorable Ingrid Moses Scatliff, our Deputy Premier, and Minister of Natural Resources and Labor, Honorable Kedrick Pickering, the Honorable Mark Vanterpool, senior officials who are here from the Ministry, Ms. Brenda Letsamtai, members of the business community, we thank you very much for being here, and members of the press, and of course, our young people, good morning to you. Today I'm delighted to have this occasion to deliver to the territory's youth additional opportunities provided by their government for their personal and professional advancement. The secret message communicated to most young people today by the society around them is that they're not needed, that the society will run itself quite nicely until they, at some distant point in the future, will take over the reins. Yet the fact is that the society is not running itself nicely because the rest of us need all the energy, all the brains, all the imagination and talent that young people can bring to bear down on our difficulties. For society to attempt to solve its desperate problems without the full participation of even very young people is imbecile. I could not have stated the importance of young people to our society more clearly. So I borrowed these words from writer Alvin Toffler. Toffler's words resonated with me because I have heard our youth cry out to participate in the development of the territory. And at the same time, I've also heard the adults in our society complain about the preparedness of our young people to assume their positions in the Virgin Islands. Prior to being an elected member of the Virgin Islands House of Assembly, I had the chance to speak with a variety of persons in the territory on the challenges they faced personally and challenges the country faced. Over and over again, I found myself engaged in conversations with mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and fathers complaining about how hard it is for their young family members to find employment in their own home. I heard young people admit that they felt unprepared for the jobs advertised in the newspapers, and as a business owner myself, quite frequently, that reality was met in my business. With the leadership of our Premier, Honorable Dr. Orlando Smith, his administration has sent a very public message to the young people of this territory that they are indeed needed, not in the distant future, certainly not just a few months every 4 years, but right now. Our government realizes that in order for the Virgin Islands to maintain a relevant and vibrant economy, we need to find opportunities to prepare our young people today so that they can properly take care of this country tomorrow. Our community must realize that if investments such as the ones we are showcasing this morning are not made for the development of our young people, as a country, we will be shortchanging ourselves from the vitality, ambition, imagination, and genius that resides in our young people. Studies show us that young persons with a sense of purpose, preparedness, and access to opportunities for both further education and work are less likely to engage in negative behavior that can have adverse effects on their future prospects as well as the communities in which they live. So in short, ladies and gentlemen, we have no choice but to provide opportunities for our youth to be developed in order for our country that we love to remain a vibrant place to live, to work, and indeed to do business. In December 2011, we set about to create a youth employment registry to capture data to show us the real situation of youth unemployment in the country. Within a few weeks, over 500 persons were registered, a startling number for our population. We proceeded to hire an employment counselor, you heard him before, Mr. Albert Whitley, and set about to prepare our young people for employment by doing a series of developmental workshops, as well as provide opportunities such as today to give our youth prime occasions to interact with prospective employers, as well as new and innovative means for their job search. With the launch of Youth VI, which you'll see shortly, our initial concept of an online job board has now evolved to not only act as the online platform for young persons on all our islands to readily find employment and our business community to interact with the young, fresh talent, we now all seek to provide a hub for youth-centered activity for the Virgin Islands youth. Over the next few months, we will be marketing this website both to the youth of this territory as well as businesses and relevant organizations that should have an interest in youth development. The site's flexibility will allow us to have a calendar of events for government and non-governmental opportunities for the enrichment of our young people, whether it may be workshops, government initiatives, or even international news relevant to the youth of the Virgin Islands. With the recent completion of our youth policy, I anticipate that when our Youth Council and our Youth Commission come on stream, the territory's youth will have a place online to be updated on all matters from these organizations, as well as opportunities for participation. Many of the adults in this room, if we allow ourselves to think back to the first chance we had to be gainfully employed, will recall many lessons that we learned. We would recall the importance of that first job in helping us to find our path to independence. It is that experience that through Youth VI and our apprenticeship program, we are attempting to provide for the young people here in the Virgin Islands. It is important for a community to understand the symbiotic relationship between the education system and the private sector in the overall development of our people and our country. We need to provide good workers for businesses, and we need those businesses to hire our young people to enhance the services that they offer and to provide our youth with experiences, tools, and skills for them to begin to live independent lives and contribute to the territory's development. The United States of America is known as one of the most innovative and thriving countries in the world. It was American innovation that pushed the envelope and allowed the world to experience the motor vehicle, safe private air travel, the telephone, motion picture, wireless communication, and everyone's favorite iPhone or iPad. Behind that innovation were entrepreneurs, private citizens, taking a risk on an idea and a dream that eventually changed the world forever. The America that the world knows today was not only built on strong government policies, but it was also built with the hard work and contribution of those in the private sector. Today, 91% of working Americans are employed in the private sector, and the country continues to forge new markets in which we all benefit from. Here in the Virgin Islands, we have young and seasoned men and women with ideas that can equally improve the lives of residents of this territory and even those outside of the territory. But to get to that level, we must support the development of a vibrant private sector. All of us must see the value and innovation the private sector brings to our economy and the impact that everyday businesses here have on our lives. Yet there seems to be a growing trend among some politicians to use the platform of representing the people of the Virgin Islands to demonize, as I say, persons in the private sector. The Virgin Islands economy cannot effectively support our needs without our private sector. It is those same private businesses that I, as minister, with the responsibility for youth affairs, have gone to, seeking opportunities for employment for the hundreds of young people without work in this country. The public sector cannot employ everyone, but if the mission of some politicians to tear down members of the private sector succeeds, who will employ those young people seeking their first opportunity to gain employment and their chance to live independent lives? I want to again publicly thank the businesses that have partnered with us since the start of the Youth Employment Services in 2011. I would particularly like to thank today all the businesses that came forward to assist their company by agreeing to give these young people a chance to build their skills and to find employment. It is a demonstration of your business identifying with the community in which it operates. And I want to ask you to please give the businesses who are here a round of applause for coming forward to support the program. With the young persons in our program, you will have the opportunity to train an employee to suit the needs of your organization. They come with a desire to learn and new attitudes to be the best employees possible. I believe that. I ask that you give them a fair chance, mentor them, and provide the guidance that some provided many of us when we first got the opportunity to earn a living. To the young persons participating in the program, your government and the private sector have gone out on a limb for you. We have not only invested resources for you to get training, but we have also invested finances to give you a chance to gain experience on the job. I repeat, this opportunity is about experience you'll be getting that will allow you to access further opportunities. If you are into making a few dollars just to hold you over, then this program is not for you. I ask that you give this apprenticeship program your very best effort. Show up to work with a positive attitude and mind ready to put in an honest day's work. Be prepared to bring your youthful enthusiasm, creativity, and sharp minds to add value to your new place of employment. I will be personally checking on all of you, and I do not expect to hear any bad reports from any of our employment partners. Young people, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and I beg you not to waste it. We want the very best for you, and our entire community will be looking on and cheering you on. I want to say a special thank you to the Premier and the Minister for Finance, who continues to demonstrate that his administration is not just about lip service when it comes to the territory's youth. His administration understands that the young people of the Virgin Islands deserve more than a few basketball tournaments and a few petty contracts. The young people of our islands deserve real opportunities to advance their lives independent of any politician. As you have heard this morning, he has approved funds to allow us to hire an additional 20 young persons through our apprenticeship program. I want you to give the Premier of the Virgin Islands a round of applause. We initially budgeted for 85 placements in the apprenticeship program, and with the Premier's assistance, we can now have 105 young persons in the program. To date, we have trained 72 young persons and will be working to ensure that all 105 budgeted spots for this program is filled by young people. I would also like to thank Mrs. Judith Vanterpool and Mr. Albert Whitley, who continue to work with our young people, preparing them for job interviews and teaching them the important skills for them to be successful on the job and in life. I want to thank very much, of course, my very able Permanent Secretary, Dr. Marcia Potter, for working steadfastly with me to put this program together. I must also thank Assistant Secretary Brenda Letsamtai, who has continued to be a key person in helping to see that our youth development projects come to fruition, and I remain very grateful for her hard work and her support. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like now to declare the first apprenticeship job program here officially open. Thank you, employers, and I wish you young people all the best today in your job endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. And Mrs. Ty is now going to go right into the website demonstration.
This is the home page of Youth VI. And, whoa. As you can see, when you go to About, we have some messages there. And then we have programs. And under programs, we have 4 listed. I think we will have to add the apprenticeship program as well. And the youth employment services, young people, businesses, general public, you go in. And there you have the information on the services, what it's about, who's involved. Contact information for myself and Mr. Whitley. We also have the information regarding the Emerging Fellows Award. And again, the persons who are involved with these programs, contact information is there. So you don't need to call the ministry. You can call the ministry for a follow-up question. You can contact Mr. Selwood directly if you're interested in the Emerging Fellows Award. Again, we get quite a few questions on this, scholarships. We have 2 types of scholarships. We have scholarships that are awarded at graduation, and we have scholarships that you have to apply for. And these young ladies here, Mrs. Carol McCollin and Miss Sabrina Matthew, are the face of the persons you need to contact. So instead of, there it is, exactly who you need to contact, all the information you need, the background information, about these particular programs. Now let's see what else is on here. News. We will be posting news items that we believe will be able to assist our young persons in their development, their professional development, their personal development. These are just a few that have been posted for us thus far. 7 career tips. There you have it. Young people can go in themselves and find that information. Another one, y'all, waiting for you. Contact. Now, every person that deals with the young people in any department, from the Department of Youth Affairs and Sports to the Ministry of Education and Culture, can be found in this page. You have the program coordinator, and you can go right in and contact them right here in this page. You put your name, email, and send the message, and you will get a response. Everyone's here. You make it easy and user-friendly. Now let's try the jobs. And one of the features of this program is that we want to populate it with the young persons being able to go on and upload their resumes. Now, before the young people can do that, they have to register with Mr. Wheatley, because we want them, again, to put their best foot forward so they have a proper resume, as he demonstrated, to be uploaded onto the system. On this site, we hope that a young person seeking employment can just go in, you can find a job. So when they go in, I think we have some dummies there right now. It tells you the latest jobs. Do you want a full-time job? Do you want a part-time job? The internship jobs will be here as well. And is it a special project? And then you have line marketing manager. It gives you some information. Let's see what that feature. Sorry, can't do that. It tells you what they're looking for, and I like this. It tells you exactly what qualifications you will need and what the ideal candidate would look like. So the young person, even before they go any further, can evaluate for themselves, am I eligible for this position? Likewise, let me go back to jobs. Likewise, employers or businesses will have the opportunity to look for young persons. Well, work with me here, work with me, come on. Let's go back. Post a job. Businesses can go directly to the site and post their business information. If you're looking for a laborer, you go on, you say who you are, your contact information, and what you want to find. So we make it direct. You don't have, there's not a third party. The businesses can go and find young persons can go and find employers whom they wish to apply to. And, did I miss anything? Oh, there's a feature on here that's kind of cool. We have, I think I have to go back to the home page. This right here is actually a radio station that features only local music. For our young people, you know, BVI, it's there. We encourage businesses and young persons to start populating those pages, and we hope to have it effectively up and running by later today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Tai, for doing that demonstration. And this brings us to the close of this sermon this morning. And it's now my duty to say thank you. I know the minister gave some thank yous when he ended his remarks, but I just want to do some official thank yous to some of those persons again and to some others. And I want to say a special thank you to our Premier and our Deputy Premier for joining us this morning, but also not only for joining us here this morning, but joining us as partners in government in this venture to help the young people of the territory. We are certainly grateful for your support and your words of encouragement. I want to also say a special thank you to our Minister, Honorable Walwyn, whose vision has certainly been one that has been driving us in the Ministry of Education and Culture, and we thank him for his continuous support in taking us forward in achieving the mandate of the ministry. Mr. Albert Wheatley of the Youth Employment Service that originally started out as the Youth Unemployment Register, and we've taken quite a few steps, as Mr. Wheatley said this morning. We went from an unemployment register to training, to trying to find businesses to employ persons, having job fairs, and now to this step where we're actually launching the apprenticeship program. And along with Mr. Wheatley, I want to say a very special thank you to Mrs. Judith Vanterpool. Mrs. Tai says she's our go-to. Mrs. Vanterpool is always there for us when we call her. So Mrs. Vanterpool, thank you very, very much for taking on that mantle to help train our young people. And I know the business partners, you can rest assured, they went through rigorous training. They had some difficult discussions. They had some hard talk in those sessions. And we see the fruit of it. Today, this morning when I walked and saw them sitting under the tent, I said, wow, look at our young people looking sharp. I've seen a few of them on the road before and they weren't looking that sharp, so something paid off. So thank you, Mrs. Vanterpool. I want to thank Mrs. Tai and Ms. Saskia Barnes for the role that they have been playing in helping us to get to this activity today. Ms. Barnes in developing the website and working with the ministry to develop the ceremony for this morning. To the business partners, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming on board and recognizing the importance of this program and for showing that you're good corporate citizens. And in that I want to thank Mr. Bentley Hodge, who gave remarks this morning and for encouraging the young people. I want to thank Mr. Coffey for also coming forward and encouraging your colleagues. Your positive words, I'm sure, went a long way to making the other young people comfortable this morning. To the young people who have registered, who have gone to the training programs, I'm happy to know that you registered. I'm happy that you saw the importance of attending those training sessions. And I want to reiterate some of what was said this morning to you. Remember, it is not where you start, but where you finish. And I want to take us back to remarks that we have heard since 2012, over and over from our own Minister, Honorable Walwyn, and from our Minister of Communication and Works, Honorable Mark Vanterpool, who on many occasions spoke about where they came from to where they are today, that they didn't just become owners of businesses, but they started and worked their way up. And I want you young people, as Mr. Hodge said this morning as well about himself, that he started in one position but worked his way up to where he is now. I want to encourage you not to see any job as being too demeaning or below you, but to take it, make a start, become employed, work hard, have a positive attitude, and work your way up. I want to thank the staff of Maria's by the Sea for allowing us to use the facilities today for this ceremony and the courtyard outside for the job fair. And to all other persons who I may not have mentioned, I want to say a hearty thank you to all. We're really grateful for all that you have done and for coming forward and partnering with the Ministry of Education and Culture. Thank you all very much, and please join us in the parking lot for the job fair.